Well, hi there, you big, beautiful Broadway world. It's me, your Broadway buddy, Ben Cameron, and I am here at the 54th Street campus of AMDA College of the Performing Arts, right here, 250 West 54th Street, and I am joined by AMDA alum, faculty member, and upcoming judge of our next season of Next on Stage with Broadway World, the fabulous Broadway veteran slash icon, Elaine Marcos.
Oh, icon, Elaine Marcos, that's it.
No.
I mean, not icon Elaine Marcos, but you know, Elaine is fine. But
I'll say what I want to say.
Thank you.
You're one of my favorite people. I'm so excited to have you here, and I'm excited because we are gearing up to yet another exciting season of Next on Stage, our online singing competition that is brought to us by AMDA, which you have a long and storied history with.
Over 25 years, yes. That's where it all started at AMDA.
What started at AMDA?
Yes.
So you're a faculty member, you get a chance, you were talking a little bit about some varied positions you get to fill at AMDA that involve traveling.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that.
So I actually am often one of the scary people behind the table, or watching people's video submissions or auditioning people virtually, because there are many different ways to audition for AMDA now. But I have the opportunity of watching potential students, like their first taste of auditioning, you know, of like doing pieces in front of somebody and being like, oh my gosh, this is what I want to do for a living. And I see them and I go, that was me many years ago. But I have an opportunity to, in a sense, be an audition coach for them. Oh, also, when I say audition coach, the reason why is we don't call ourselves adjudicators. Like, I'm not here to like judge you. Even with this competition, we're not, in a sense, judging you. We are seeing, like, assessing your talent. I know it sounds picky, but using the word judge
feels harsh.
Yeah, I'm not turning my chair around going, you're going to Hollywood. I mean, you are, because if you do go to AMDA, we do have a campus there. But it's not about that. It's not about saying you're going to make it or you're not going to make it. It's a different lens.
You serve, I think, as a faculty member with AMDA, and certainly as I've watched you on Next on Stage, more of a mentor and a coach and someone to help people refine their craft and build upon the talents that they come to us with.
Exactly, it's about building. So that's what I love about AMDA is my job and our job is to help people build from what they bring in already, as opposed to going, you know what, if you're gonna make in the business, get rid of this and change. It's about being authentic, and I know from my career, if I just did what I thought people wanted and tried to be someone other than myself, I really don't think I would have continued having a career. So I think both of us understand the idea of being authentic in order to have a career. And at AMDA, I was really taught that what you bring in is, you know, everywhere says that that's your special sauce, but I really honed into that very quickly because I did not feel like I could, quote unquote, fit in. But my teachers and faculty members were saying, oh, you know what, you do this well. I go, but they're like, lean into that, still work on other things, but still try to stay within my world. Like, I'm really never gonna defy gravity in the sense of being, you know, singing that song. No, there are other things in that show I might be right for.
Well, but your career you're one of the workingest ladies in the game. How many Broadway shows have we done? And you're currently in Drag the Musical?
Currently in Drag and in 10 Broadway shows.
10 Broadway shows.
Yeah, but for a long time. You know, it's been a while, but it really is about that experience and constantly going and putting ourselves out there.
Yeah, tell me a little bit more about how you feel that your time as a student at AMDA prepared you to have this career.
Yeah, like one of my first auditions, I was recommended by a faculty member.
Oh, great.
And of course it was a chorus line. Now, I wasn't told like, you're gonna get this gig. They would recommend, and they said, this audition is happening. And I was like, yeah, I was gonna go to that. And they're like, this is the person who's gonna be there. And we can mention, since we do know people in the biz, like, hey, look out for Elaine. that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then, of course, being in New York, I mean, we're in New York right now, and I still
one of the most exciting things. We're looking out over the skyline right here.
We both were like, oh.
I remember showing up
thing?
in the 90s as a AMDA,
Yeah.
AMDA student, and the access to New York City and to the community was what was really exciting.
Yeah, and being able to go from, there are different locations. Like AMDA has a couple spots where, traveling for classes. And so you're already in that world. So the idea of going to places where I would have class, but then also be like, oh my gosh, there's an audition for, I don't know, Miss Saigon happening in this same area. You're like, I'm in it. So that's what helped me kind of, grow my tough skin, especially being an international student. Yes, only from Canada, but coming into a place where I'm like, I don't really know, but able to learn in this setting, I had to really be present and push myself in the best way, and also show up. It really is about showing up.
Yeah. Yeah. It's 90% of the business is walking in the door.
Yeah, because a lot of times you could say, yeah, I don't think I'm going to go to that. But at AMDA, I was really taught, take those opportunities. And every time I would go into a room and they might say, no, thank you. I took it as, no, thank you. But it's hard. But that's the type of training that I got. And I think that's the reason why I've consistently, thankfully, work, is because I'm not going to stop after you say no.
Gosh, no.
No.
None of us would get anywhere.
No. So that's a big thing.
What do you feel as somebody who juggles being an educator, as a faculty member at AMDA, and still being a performer on stage? What have you learned about yourself as a performer that you've got, and maybe some aha moments from being an educator?
Yeah, like being an educator and also being on the other side of the table.
Yeah.
Because I see it, and I see how I might not remember someone specifically, maybe their name or what they sang, but their energy and who they are is undeniable. You can kind of tell that. So I realize when I am performing and when I am even auditioning, the part of me that is nervous, the part of me that is so scared, that is, it can be charming. And so I realize it's okay for me to feel that way. So when I see people come in and they're really nervous and they're just really nervous, I find it they're so vulnerable, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm rooting for you already. So I realize that is a superpower that I want to cultivate when I'm in auditions, and on the other side of the table, when I am like, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous, I'm like, okay, just lean into that. Just prepare as much as you can, but being able to watch people come in being very vulnerable, not knowing anything about this business.
I imagine a lot of what they have going for them is present in those moments when they are most vulnerable, that they may not even know.
Yeah.
And that's what you get to help cultivate.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And even then, other people come in and they might be really well trained already, and that's fantastic. And that also shows me how, there are many different types of people who come in whenever they audition. That's what I kind of love about college auditions specifically, because they're different from a Broadway audition, TV. I am looking for potential, to see if they have potential. So I'm looking at it in a way of would I want this person in my classroom as a student or as my peer? Would I be able to thrive with them? And for example, you, I'd see you, I'm like, you haven't even sung or done anything. I'd be like, yeah, I want to hang out with you. Let's work on a scene. It's that type of energy that is very important when it comes to these college auditions.
Yeah.
So whenever I am teaching, I kind of make sure people lean into their own authenticity, and to be messy, it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, messiness can absolutely be your superpower.
Yeah.
So we're about to launch into this competition. So you'll be joining the judging panel again. That's not only fabulous Elaine, Marcos, Kate Rockwell, Kyle Taylor Parker, Michael James Scott, Courtney Reed, Leslie Margarita. It's just, this is a super star-studded panel of mentors and quote-unquote judges. We don't like that word.
No, but I can't wait to be able to, watch things, and they'll have any type of notes, and I am writing stuff down. I am like writing stuff down that they say, because sometimes we're saying the same thing, but the way they say it, I can hear it, and students are different. So sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm going to take that from what Courtney said. I'm going to take, because it's so helpful to hear other people.
I absolutely learn from listening to all of your feedback as well. And it's very exciting because the finalists from both the college competition and the high school competition will be flown to New York City for a live final at 54 Below.
Yes.
Well, they get to perform live in front of these judges, friends, mentors.
Yes.
Which is super exciting. Last year it was just so magical.
I know, we were crying.
And there's some really incredible prizes and offerings coming from the AMDA side of things.
Yes.
Let's talk about one of the grand prize of this is the Emerging Artist Scholarship that our winners will be awarded to attend AMDA.
Yes, so there's...
That's crazy.
I know. I mean, like, training is so important. So the idea of actually having that off your back, to know that you're like, oh, I have a scholarship, and being able to attend with that... Training is so important. So I always just am so excited that we're able to be part of that.
Yeah. And especially, AMDA has such a history, such a legacy, and so many great Broadway performers like yourself, have walked the halls of AMDA and have come out and gone on to have incredible careers. And many of them, like yourself, coming back to be mentors, teachers, to speak.
Because that's our mission, is to be taught by people who are working in the business.
Right.
So that's what I love about it, is I get so excited when I'm at the stage door, and then students come in and they go, oh, I want to be where you're at. And I look at them, I go, yeah, you are. Wait, what song would you use? Because we know so much information of, like, I think this person's leaving this show or whatever. And it's like, we can give you insider information because we know the creators, the directors now, and let's be honest, a lot of times they're looking for the new one, just like what we're doing. So I see them, and I really do want to help them, because we know people who need their talent. So I always really get excited, because I'm always like, okay, can you send me your information, because I think this person's doing that, and I want you to connect with that person, or I want to help you. And that's what my faculty members did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's we hear it all the time, that so much of the business is who you know and who you're connected with and who wants to work with you.
Yeah.
And that is really special, that you're at AMDA working with people who are feet on the ground in the shows, doing the work currently.
Yes.
In a large regard.
Absolutely.
And on November 22nd, we will be announcing live to the interwebs our top 15 college and high school age competitors who will get an opportunity to be mentored by our incredible judges and faculty. And it's, once again, so exciting to have AMDA part of this.
It's so informative too. Like, any performer who wants to get into this business, being able to watch these tapes, putting the tape together is not easy. So everybody who did put a tape and submitted, that amount of work is not lost, regardless if they didn't make it in. It's that amount of work that is required. So I am so proud of anyone who put one together. But then if anyone did and they get to the 15, please, people, vote. Because the amount of work that is required to do a tape, it's a lot.
Well, and this has just occurred to me, what great practice for what is commonplace in our industry. You've got to be able to put together a self-tape. So this is, kind of self-tape boot camp.
I really do think it's...
To a degree. You audition students for AMDA via tape as well.
Tape. And the more you get used to it, it becomes a machine. And that's what I was taught at AMDA. It's repetition, it's experience. Keep on doing it, whether or not you win or not. Because I will not always win everything. I won't book everything. But it's like, oh, I did it again, and I did it again, I did it again, regardless of whether or not the outcome is how I want it to be.
Yeah. It's the journey, not the
The
destination.
journey.
Isn't that what we're
It's the
saying?
journey.
Well, continued success. I can't wait to come see Drag the Musical with you. And I'm so excited to meet our finalists for Next on Stage, brought to you by AMDA College of the Performing Arts. Lots on the line here. So make sure you tune in, vote frequently, vote often, and make sure that you tune in. And thanks for being here with me
Thank you, Ben.
at AMDA.